Old Dad Fitness Podcast. My name is PT.
My name is Jonathan, and welcome. Hope you're all enjoying the beautiful summer and great weather wherever you're at in the world.
Indeed, welcome back. I have a complaint to make about the Google Hangouts that we use to record this, which is this is like totally uninteresting to listeners, I'm sure. But like so if you watch the videos, it switches. Like I can switch who's the big video and who's the small video. It does that automatically based on whoever's speaking, unless I ever click on someone's photo, and then I have to do it manually for the rest of the episode. And I accidentally clicked on your photo at the very beginning of this, so now we have to remember to manually switch it each time someone's talking. So that's going to be a pain. But I guess if that's the worst problem I have, I'll be okay. Last time I forgot, and it was all you the entire time. So.
Oh, really? I didn't watch the video, so that's good. At least it was me. Although the one thing that drives me crazy, and I guess it's just like an internet thing, is like when I see it, of course, my image is really clear and smooth. But then, I've watched some of our videos and stuff, and it's all choppy and blurry because obviously it's being broadcast across the country into your living room.
Even the world, even international people can see.
That's right.
Well done. So it's been a couple weeks. How's it going, Jonathan?
It's going good. It was it's a shame to have missed the podcast, but it was for good reason. You got to take yourself a nice vacation there. Well, let's see. We're now halfway done with the Whole Life Challenge. I've been another little. So had two more weeks of Whole Life Challenge going on. I also started doing some half marathon training. So that was my first week of training. Because last Saturday is 12 weeks out from the Warrior Dash, which is a mud run we do. It's a national mud run. They do one of it here in Copper Mountain in Colorado, which I'm signed up to do. So it's only a 5K, but I'm doing a half marathon training regiment in addition to other whatever weightlifting and all that stuff, CrossFit kind of thing. So I can hopefully do really well at it. I would like to.
Nice.
So got that going on.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. You should you might as well just run a half marathon the next weekend too, since you're already trained up.
Yeah, actually I was thinking about that because for anyone that's familiar with marathon or half marathon training, they're all pretty much the same, where you start and you run a couple little runs and then a big run, and every week your big run on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it is a little bigger than the week before, and then it gets all the way up to almost the full race amount. Like if it's a marathon, it'll be 23 miles on your biggest run, and half marathon it gets up to 12 miles on your biggest run. So I'm thinking, even if I don't pick a half marathon race, I want to at least, for my own personal, knowledge, run a 13.1 mile than me timing it, I guess, and see how I can do. I think my best half marathon time ever was actually in training for a marathon. So it was just one that I ran just on my own. Nobody else but me watching it. So
crazy.
So,
yeah, that's weird.
That's
weird how that happens. I was on a similar note. I was looking at my Nike run history the other day, and I saw my fastest mile of all time was just in some 5 mile run, in the third mile or whatever. That's weird how that just happens.
Yeah. I think part of it too is I know for me, a big thing on races is I get really nervous and get a huge adrenaline dump right before race or whatever, where it just the night before, that morning, especially at the race, I'll just be visioning the race in my mind and all that, and I really just have this huge rush of adrenaline, and then that can kill you later on, by the end of the race. But my best, I was saying, my best half marathon was just under an hour 30. I think it was an hour 28, and I just did it just running off on my own. I just felt good. I was running, and it was nice weather, and it was all hilly too. It was a really hilly run, and whatever. I was just cruising along, and 10 miles in, I was like, wow, I'm killing it, man. I got to keep this up, and then I really pushed myself, those last 3 miles. But anyway. So it was good enough for me. I guess I don't need an official time.
Yeah, that's right. So. Indeed. Cool. Good deal. Yeah. So the Whole Life Challenge still going good for you?
Yeah, it is still going good for me. And in fact, I was definitely down on the Whole Life Challenge this week. I had some really busy days. So so one night I had a concert, and then the following night. So I'm a realtor, and then I also occasionally will contract out for telecommunications. That's what I did before I got into real estate, and I still have friends and connections in telecommunications. And one of the places that I do most of the work at, that I still do, is out at Denver International Airport. So we had to do some work out there, but it had to be when the planes weren't flying, so it was all night long. So I didn't sleep at all. I slept like 3 hours, kind of, on Thursday night. So I got done. Yeah, I think that was Thursday night. I got done with work at 5 a.m. or got home about 5 a.m. and the kids got up at 6, and I tried to sleep till like 8, but that was it. So Wednesday and Thursday, I think, were actually the 2 days that I missed. I did still work out on Friday, even though I slept for an hour or 3 hours, depending on how you want to look at it. But so I was kind of bummed out. So I lost a ton of points this week, and I was hoping to end this with a perfect score. I still might, but yeah. So I was a little bummed out. I'm feeling better now. Back on track, and trying to stay focused on like the health aspect of the whole thing, where it is really great. Great for fitness and mental and physical health. And I shouldn't get hung up on the points, but the competitive side of me says, screw that. I want to win.
Right. So being like that, we're halfway in now. Do you think there's anything from the whole life challenge that so far that you've experienced that you're going to keep going beyond the end of the challenge?
Yeah, definitely. I think one, I really like the idea of that daily incorporation of fitness. So even if you don't have time for a full-fledged workout and everything, you're still getting something, and I think that's really clutch. It helps you just stay focused, and you get that little bump or whatever, and encourages you to be able to find an activity every day. The water thing I've been drinking a lot more water since we did it, and hope to continue that.
Cool.
I don't know, what have you picked up so far?
Well, I think I gotta keep doing like some of the I basically got to keep doing it because I'm like losing a ton of weight. So I want to keep that going. So I think what I'm thinking right now, and we're only halfway in, so who knows if I'll stick to this or not. But what I'm thinking right now is that I'll continue doing it for a while, like basically continue doing the same, like eating and everything like that that's on the Whole Life Challenge, like 6 days a week, and then just take 1 day a week off to if I want to have pizza or something like that, I can, or have a beer or whatever. So that's my plan, and I don't know how long I'll continue that, but it seems to be working pretty good for me. So I want to keep going with it for a while.
Yeah. I certainly, I guess I should neglected the biggest part of the whole challenge, which is of course the diet, eating, and I certainly want to keep the mass majority of it in place. I don't know if I'm an alcoholic or if I just love beer, but I certainly want to. Like tonight, I was like, oh, I totally want to have I brewed this one super, super awesome craft beer that I absolutely love. And I was like, dang, I'd really like to have a glass of that tonight. But after the challenge, I'll certainly take advantage of that kind of stuff. But no grains and no sugar, I think, is great. I think this challenge taught me too. Like, I would say I am a pretty... I'm not like a big muscular guy or anything like that, but I'm pretty defined, my physique or whatever. And like I now realize, like if you want to step it up and take it to the next level, like I just did actually. I've been taking some selfies, even though I always rip on those, but I figured I should have some documentation, so I took a halfway through selfie, and then I actually did a side-by-side thing just for myself to see what it was from week 1, and certainly it is a way to get, like, if anybody out there wants to get really shredded, this is the way to do it. If it takes a lot of discipline, and it's all about the diet mostly, but if you're like really fit and you're like, man, I think I have good abs, but I really, really want them to pop and look really, really good, if you like that kind of look, then this would be the way to do it. So
nice.
Anybody out there that's thinking they want to step it up on that, then this is the way to do it.
Cool. Speaking of selfies and everything, I was talking to Andy, who's doing the challenge with us, and he the other day, and I was asking him how it was going and everything, and he was like pretty positive about it, but he was a little bummed because he was like, yeah, I've lost a lot of weight and everything, but like I look exactly the same. Like there's no physical difference or whatever. And so like I mentioned on the podcast a while ago, he'd sent me some like day one pictures of him like in his
Yeah. I remember
his underwear, and my wife saw it, was like, what's going on? But so he just actually sent me for the halfway point tonight. He sent me some halfway point pictures, and I was like, dude, what are you talking about? You look so different. It's crazy. Like he looks way different. But apparently, a lot of times you don't see those changes in yourself or whatever, because he looks way different.
Right. My wife actually, she didn't take any before pictures, and I'm kind of bummed because she's this. Like I don't know if she realizes the difference, but like I certainly like, see a huge difference in just these 4 weeks or whatever in her as well. I would love it if we would have had some before pictures just so she could see it too. You know what I mean? You see that side by side, and it's pretty noticeable. Did you take any before pictures?
No, I didn't. Like a sucker. I guess I should take some now at least to
take halfway
between now and then.
That's right.
But yeah, cool. And also another thing about the challenge that I was wanted to bring up is that, and I don't know if this is anything to do with the challenge or not, but like creative wise, like my brain is just like way better than usual. Like I'm in my like fiction writing, like with my last book I wrote, I averaged about 1,100 words a day, and since I've been doing the challenge, and I've been at the same time writing another book, and I'm averaging about 2,000 words a day, and it's like just coming way easier, way faster. So I don't know how much of that is just there's my like that maybe I'm just getting better or whatever, or how much of it is due to the whole life challenge and all that stuff. But whatever it is, I don't want to change anything. It's going good.
Right, I would think that it's a huge chunk of the whole life challenge that it's a pure fitness, because I mean, like, yeah, your brain like absolutely is tremendously affected by what you're putting in your body, and then plus like exercise too. I mean, you get that increased blood flow. It's going to help your cognitive skills out as well. There's tons of benefits to and this again, it puts exercise and food right in the forefront of your life. So not to try and sell the whole life challenge to people, but healthy eating and exercise habits in general. I would say that definitely is playing a role into your. Yeah, I'm killing it at work, although I think that has probably nothing to do with the whole life challenge.
Hey, you never know. Give the whole life challenge a spread.
It could be the whole life challenge. It could be a super hot real estate market in Denver. It's hard to say which one is.
Could be a little both. Who knows?
Could be.
Crazy. So where do we go from here? Where do you want to start? Before we get too crazy, I just want to throw this out there as a teaser. Sometime in this podcast, I have 2 SEAL related stories for us to come back to. So so you can be looking forward to that.
Okay, I can't wait to hear SEAL related stories. All right, I got I got a bunch of topics, but they're all over the place.
Me too.
Okay, cool. Hey, let's bring up an article. You shot me that article earlier to read through, which is basically an article about fitness and like the science of fitness. Do you recall who the author was and where it was from?
Yeah, it comes from the New York Times. The author is Daniel Duane. No idea really who he is or anything.
Some guy that wrote an article for the New York Times. But
right.
They got
he's an editor for Men's Journal.
Okay. So he knows something about health. But but his article is basically about the science of fitness and like right now there's tons of like muscle confusion is one of them, where it's this new science of like, you gotta work different muscles all the time, and it keeps you from plateauing, and you get better results, and blah blah blah. And he tried a couple of things like that, and the new trends and the new science. All of them say there's a lot of science behind all these fitness things, and none of them were. He didn't get that great of results from any of them. And then he goes on to pick like a super old school, one that's way out of fashion or out of style in the fitness world, where he's like, basically do 3 different exercises, a bunch of reps of 3 different exercises 3 days a week or whatever. Super basic, like workout stuff that's been around forever and ever. And he did that for a year, and he had great results. And he was kind of like, what the hell, like all this all the science behind all these workout programs, it's kind of BS, and there's not like a ton of research money going into it, and honestly, it doesn't work any better than stuff we were doing when fitness first, came into being 40, 50 years ago. And I think there's actually, again, with that and diet both, there's a tremendous amount of truth that the research either isn't there or just isn't conclusive enough yet. We're still learning, but we totally have the answers at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, we're always looking for that magic bullet answer. Do this, and you'll be super fit in like 2 weeks. And it always goes back to like stay active, move around a lot, and exercise, do it consistently, and you're gonna have awesome results.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was interesting in light of what we talked about last time with all that diet stuff. And I really liked his last paragraph where he says, so if your own exercise routine hasn't brought you the changes you'd like, and if you share my vulnerability to anything that sounds like science, remember, if you pay too much attention to the stories about exercise research, you'll stay bewildered. But if you trust the practical knowledge of established athletic cultures and keep your eye on the progressive overload principle, you will reach a state of clarity. So,
yeah, well
said. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think, especially as we like do our website and do this podcast, I mean, we're kind of looking for stuff to talk about, so we're reading a lot of articles and things like that, and I think it's easy for us to get, or at least me to get, overloaded by the newest, latest, hottest trends and all that stuff. And it's important to keep our eye on the stuff that we know works.
Right, and it is both in nutrition and exercise. There's so much, especially like the longer you've been at it, the longer you've like paid attention to that. Because I mean, like anytime I start to really focus on it, I just start to get more and more confused and think like, oh, am I totally doing everything wrong? Blah blah blah. Is this new thing going? And then I kind of think back and I'm like, oh yeah, like I've seen just over the years, just being like somewhat in tune to fitness. I'm not like I don't write for Men's Health, and I don't, I'm not a trainer or whatever, but I've certainly paid attention to fitness and exercise, and both what, the suggested things you eat and the suggested things you do have just always changed over time, but, again, the basics always work, just continue to stay active, and I mean, the other clutch part of it, like no matter what exercise routine you see, no matter how great it is, because I mean, some of them are great. I don't mean to rip on like the new, high intensity interval training is another one of the big new trends, and that stuff works. It does work. It works great. And again, it's if you stay consistent to it. If you pick like a good interval training, and you push yourself every week and find a way to just push yourself a little harder every week, and you do it for a year, you're gonna have great results. But you're gonna have great results if you do weightlifting for a year, if you run a marathon, and it's just a matter of sticking to it. That's what's really going to do it. And then the other huge chunk of it is diet, because you can do any of those things. And if you eat, 3 supersized McDonald's meals a day, you're going to be really unhealthy, no matter what exercise you do. So that's it.
Indeed. Good point. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Where do we go from here?
I want to go. I need to bring in I was like, I got to throw in a dad topic. We are real dad fitness after all.
Yeah.
I want to throw out kids and obesity.
Ooh, I wish you could see my notes right now, because I've got a very similar topic on my plate.
All right. Well, good.
Carry on.
So now it kind of inspired me actually from I was listening to a local radio station, and they have people call in, and couples call in with a problem, and you try and solve it with the radio, listeners and all that. But their problem was their daughter was overweight, and the mom wanted to send her to a health and nutrition and exercise camp or whatever for a week this summer, which by everyone else knows it as fat camp. I mean, that's what that is. You know what I mean? that's a horrible way to think of it, but certainly when you're a peer of a 12-year-old, you don't say, oh, she went to fitness and nutrition camp, she went to fat camp. Anyway, but they were talking about sending their daughter there, and obviously, like, that's a bummer if you get to that point, but, that doesn't happen overnight. And I think especially with girls, maybe I'm wrong about this, but it's way, way tougher to tackle the weight and obesity issue, because you don't want to cause a disorder, you know what I mean? You don't want to, like, focus on it or think that they're not pretty, but at the same time, you don't want your daughter to be really overweight because that's unhealthy, and honestly, there's a social stigma attached to it, you know what I mean? If, especially with women, I think a young, pretty woman is more likely to have things go her way, you know what I mean? In a job interview, there's just seen in a better light. So of course you want everything the best you can for your daughter, but how do you do that? What are your thoughts? We both have daughters, so
Sure. Yeah, so that's great. So what I had written down that kind of fits nicely into this was all I had written down was just what is a parent's responsibility as far as the fitness of their child. How do we do that? But I like where you went a little more specific with the daughter, the girl kind of part of it. So, and I guess I don't. Well, there's a couple thoughts I have. For one thing, and thankfully my wife is really good about, like, correcting me on this. Like, she's very like astute as far as, like, making sure we don't, like, obsess about, like, especially with me doing, like, this whole life challenge and stuff like that. Like, I'm always talking about food and stuff like that. So basically she's kind of like banned the word diet from our house and been like, yeah, you cannot call it a diet. You have to call it like a challenge or whatever you want. That's fine, but do not call it a diet. And she's good about, like, calling me out about stuff like that and trying to not basically, imply that thinner is better than fat or that kind of stuff. So we try to kind of, like, watch the way that we talk about things along with that. So I guess that's the little bit that we're doing as far as trying to potentially avoid the eating disorder kind of stuff. Will it work? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I don't know.
It's definitely tough.
Yeah, I love the idea of, because, like, I hate the word diet, because obviously it has a huge connotation to it, and, like, I've been searching for the correct term, because even on this, like, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this new diet, and every time I say it, like, it's like a paleo whole food diet thing, and when I say that, it just drives me crazy, because it's like, okay, obviously I don't want to lose weight, I mean, like, if so I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want that to be the word that gets tagged to it, and again, same thing for my kids too, because, like, even my son will say that, he'll be like, oh, you're on that crazy diet, Dad, you can't have this candy bar, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, that makes it sound like it's like a, it's a weight loss thing. It's not, it's a health thing. So there needs to be, like, a word for a healthy eating regime that doesn't imply weight loss.
Yes, the weight loss companies have stolen the word diet. Maybe we just need to reclaim
it.
They have. Them.
So maybe.
We're taking it back. The other thing I was thinking about along these lines was, and because I'm not sure either how the best way to encourage kids is or all that stuff, but I was thinking about, like, I was just watching my daughter today. I've got this, like, little, one of those inflatable exercise balls that a lot of times I use for, like, stretching and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I had that out, and every time I bring it out, she, like, just goes nuts and starts, like, bouncing on it, bouncing off the furniture onto it, like, basically being super crazy and wild with it. So my wife hates it when I bring it out, and my dog really hates it when I bring it out because he, like, runs and hides under the table immediately. But it did get me thinking about, like, there's definitely kids, just, like, love to run and play and move, and it's just totally a natural thing to them. And at some point they lose that, or at least some of us do. Like, I definitely lost it at some point. I don't know, like, maybe age 13 or something, and then I didn't get it back to, like, 2 years ago. So maybe the parent's job is to try and keep them from losing that. And I don't know how you do that, but I think that'd be a good goal to try and delay or minimize that, like, the loss of the fun part of just moving around.
I think a huge part of that, one that I hope to do, is to make it a bond you share with your kids. Like, obviously, so my kids are 3 and 6. I obviously don't have them like hitting the gym, with me or anything like that. But they certainly see me exercise, and they're certainly part of it. And now they're old enough that they can start, riding bikes with me and going on runs. I mean, even if they're just around the block, it's just a fun bonding experience. And I think you can keep that going for a long time, especially like if you incorporate into sports. If you want to go play basketball with your kid, when he's 15, he's still going to want to go play basketball. I mean, maybe there'll be a teenage point where they don't want to do it with you for a little bit, but you can always have that bond of fun physical, like taking my kids hiking and stuff like that. And I think that's the clutch way to do it, is to just have them be fit and healthy. Of course, my kids eat like crap, but I'm trying to tackle that bridge. But anyway, but even but they still get tons of good, wholesome kid exercise.
Right.
And I think that's the way to keep that going, is just keep them, keep that fun bond of doing things together and having them, be physically active.
Yep, totally. I think that's good, and it's a big topic, but I think that's a good approach to use for sure, and just showing them that that's part of your lifestyle, and part of it's a normal life is being active and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think especially when they're young, it's all about, you never need to bring it up. Never like I've never had a conversation with my kids about like, yeah, you need to exercise so you can stay fit and healthy or anything like that. But they certainly see me, talk about it or whatever in adult context, and then they, see me living that lifestyle. So I think that's it. I think so far it seems to be working with them. I mean, they both seem like healthy, happy little kids running around like crazy, but hopefully most kids are like that. So.
All right. Well, interesting. Well, can we take it from the one end of this spectrum, like the little kids, to the opposite end? I want to share my first SEAL story here. If you don't mind.
Let's hear a SEAL story. I'm dying of curiosity.
All right. So this comes to us from stuff.co.nz, which is a New Zealand website. But the title of the article is SEAL Victims Fitness Saves the Day. So I'll just read a little excerpt here. So his passion for walking resulted in him being attacked by a seal, but it is also the reason the 85-year-old Arthur Lester survived the encounter. So this story has it all. I'm not gonna bury the lead here. It's got this wild animal attacks. Oh my goodness, it's got everything. So Lester was bitten by a 100-kilo male fur seal while walking along the coastal highway Saturday morning. He was left with a severe gash to his calf and has later had multiple surgeries. Passerbys tended to him before paramedics arrived and treated him, wait for it, while armed police provided a protective barrier against the seal. Apparently the seal didn't just bite and leave. He was still waiting for his opportunity until he saw the police with their guns, and then he was like, okay, I'm backing off this. This is great. But basically, his son, Greg Lester, said his father survived the attack because he has the fitness of a man half his age. He's got the heart rate and blood pressure of a 30-year-old. His father walked his 25th half marathon last year. He'll survive because of his fitness, but because he's such a fitness fanatic, he was out there and got chomped by a seal, Greg said. So the little downside of so we got the upside of fitness and the downside of fitness. And I won't go through the whole thing, but he's had multiple surgeries to correct this, etc., etc. But he survived because of his fitness. One more point I do want to bring out of this article, though, is this line, which as an American confused me. If the seal continues to be a nuisance, the DOC would consider moving it, as they did in February when a seal found its way onto a farm. Man, in the United States, that seal would be so dead right now.
Yeah, that would be one toasted seal.
Yeah. So apparently if it chomps on someone else, they'll consider moving it.
Two, 3 more people, they'll think about moving it.
So there you go. That story has it all, in my opinion.
Great story. I don't even know where to start.
Look, you don't know when you're 85 years old, you too could easily be chomped down by a seal. It's probably going to happen, to be honest with you. So you want to keep that fitness level up so you can recover from it.
Right, right. And I guess the moral of the story too is that, when you're exercising, injury is always a possibility. But you never know when you're gonna get seal attacks or, possibly more likely to, sprain a muscle. But, either one can happen.
Right, exactly. I was on my cruise this week. I did this thing where it was like a dolphin encounter where I got to go swim around and play around with some dolphins. That was pretty cool.
Oh, cool, man.
I did not get bit by them, but it was really cool. It was one of those things where my daughter really wanted to do it, and I was like, I guess it's pretty expensive, but I guess we'll do it. And it turned out to be really cool, so I was a fan.
Cool.
So that whole story was just an excuse to bring up my dolphin encounter.
Well, cool. Well, it's a great lead-in too, because one of my topics was you and your cruise. How did here's a great real-world example of you went on a cruise. How did health and fitness happen? How did that go on your vacation, or did it? I won't judge.
It went okay. I think I was partly successful. So doing the whole life challenge, there's a whole bunch of different aspects. There's the exercise and the stretching and the supplement and the eating. Basically, I succeeded in all of them except for the eating. The eating I definitely did bad at. There's like awesome stuff to eat all the time, and I definitely succumbed to that. There's 24-hour pizza and 24-hour ice cream available. All you got to do is just call them, and they'll bring it to your room. There's no extra charge for it or anything. So, I was all over that. But so the eating was definitely downhill, and I did gain a few pounds while I was on the cruise. But I was glad that I was able to keep up the exercise and the other aspects of it. So I guess we'll call it a semi win.
Sure, sounds like a win to me.
Yeah, but it was cool. Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. I definitely enjoyed the cruise experiences. My first cruise, and this was a pretty ideal vacation for me because you can, there's like always stuff going around. There's dance lessons and all kinds of stuff. Anytime you want to do something, there's like a million different things going on, or you can just go lay out by the pool, or and then every once in a while the captain's like, oh, we're at this beautiful island in the Bahamas, go have fun, or whatever. So it was cool. I give it the thumbs up.
Awesome. Well, good. I'm glad you had a good vacation, and I'm glad you stayed true. Got some exercise in. That's cool. I think that's good. I think I like exercising on vacation. I think there's no reason to throw in the towel just because you're out and about.
Yeah, one of the things is I almost did my first group fitness class ever, because they always had a bunch of different fitness classes going on that you could do, and there was one that was just like a cycling class or whatever on stationary bikes, and I almost went to that, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. I should have done it though, because I've never done like a exercise class as a group. But
they're okay. I've done one or two, but the ones I'm not like a big group gym fitness guy, but I had a friend. We were in Minnesota actually on vacation, and one of my wife's friends is an instructor for some crazy exercise class thing, and did it. It was really intense actually. It was good. I got a really good workout in. So for my limited experience in group exercise classes, I'd say go for it. They're fun. They change things up, and they push you. So yeah, it's good.
Cool. Good deal.
Cool.
So I've only got one more topic, and it's kind of a fun one. Not that I'm sure all your topics are very fun as well, but
super fun.
Before we get to my final topic, which is sure to be the most fun of all, anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah. Well, I got one side note that I think I was out at a Memorial Day party, barbecue thing last weekend on Memorial Day, and man, I realized I must be in the friggin' fittest neighborhood on planet Earth. It is almost frustrating to me because I consider myself to be in really good shape, and I'm definitely not in the best shape in this neighborhood, and it drives me crazy. Like there's a guy I met, and he was talking about the Ironman he's done.
Nice.
Oh, god damn, that's awesome, but man, I don't know if you're crazy or if I should step it up. I haven't figured that out yet. And Yeah, but it's definitely a hyper competitive neighborhood. I don't know if your neighborhood's like that or not, but
Nice. I think you
um,
should. I think you should step it up. Become spend a couple years and become the fittest guy in the block.
I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. I mean, like you'd have to have some like. I mean, I guess anything's possible. It can be done, but man, some it's a challenge right there. I was like, I'm gonna start by trying to. I don't know. I really want to like so in 12 weeks, well, 11 weeks now. I guess I have like I was saying, I have that Warrior Dash coming up, and then after that, I'm doing the Tough Mudder this year. So I got two. The Tough Mudder at least has a little prestige to it when you do the Tough Mudder. Like I don't anybody that's out there that isn't aware of the Tough Mudder. It's a mud race. The one in Colorado is really tough. I mean, they have them all over the nation, and they're all pretty darn tough. The one in Colorado is like almost a half marathon. It's at like 12,000 feet, super rocky terrain, really difficult obstacles, including like ice bath, diving, and you got to run through electric shocks, and it's pretty intense as far as any of the mud runs go. I think it's the most intense. So I'm doing those two this summer, or well, fall, I guess. But I hope, and that one you just kind of do to complete the Tough Mudder. But the Warrior Dash one, I'm hoping to do really well at it this year. I think that would give me some bonus points in the neighborhood if I can kick out maybe like top 10. You know,
Nice.
I'd really like top 10, but I don't know if it's possible. There's like 17,000 people that run that race, so we'll see.
All right, that'd be pretty good. I'd be impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well.
when you get into like the ice baths and the electricity, then that's where I draw the line.
Yeah,
so it's a little too much to be like that's not helpful. There's no reason for that.
Right. You know what? Okay, so I'm gonna answer that because I was of the exact same opinion on the Tough Mudder thing, because it's like grueling. I mean, like again, it's not a race. Like some people do race the Tough Mudder, like do it for time. Most people do it as a group, and they do it to complete it. And when I went there, my wife ran it last year, the year before. Anyway, so she's done it, and I went and I wasn't able to do it that year. I won't get into the details, but anyway, so she did it and I didn't. But I did go and watch, and it was really amazing. Like there's a sense of accomplishment from it, and like it's all that stuff that sounds ridiculous is really just like a way to see what you are capable of doing, and like when you're there, there's this just huge sense of unity and just like seeing, you know, how strong you can be and how connected everyone becomes in this challenge. So like after being there and seeing it, I was like, yeah, that is something I want to do. But beforehand, I was under the exact same opinion. It was like, well, that's just stupid. Getting shot by electricity is stupid. Don't do that. But but after I saw it done, I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm in. I'm going to do this. So.
Nice.
All right.
Cool. So you're gonna become the fittest guy in your neighborhood. That's
I don't know
solved.
about that, man.
Solved.
That's. I think I'm pretty happy with my fitness level. I'll try and maintain for as long as possible. How about that? Eventually, I'll be the fittest guy in my age group if I do that.
Nice. Well done.
Maybe. I don't know. This neighborhood's crazy.
I just want to be not the least fit guy in my neighborhood. That's my goal.
Yeah. There you go. I bet you're already there, man.
Yeah, I think I've got some rather elderly people on either side of me, so I'm probably like better health than them.
But you can whoop their butts. Nice.
Definitely winning a foot race, but then I also have a police officer across the street from me. He's pretty ripped. I got a ways to go before I overtake him.
Yeah. I think I have an NFL player too in my neighborhood, so those guys are probably pretty fit too. I don't think I'll take them in strength.
Probably so, but
probably not.
But you will definitely take them at less concussions. So.
Yes, I will whoop their butts in that. Absolutely.
All right, my final topic is my other SEAL topic. So this one, taking SEAL a different direction. So I found on military.com it breaks down the fitness tests for all kinds of different special forces groups. So that'll be fun to run through a couple of these maybe over the next few weeks. So today I've got the Navy SEAL test up, and thought we could talk a little bit about the Navy SEAL fitness test, what you have to do if you want to be a Navy SEAL.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. I totally want to know what this is.
All right. So before I do this, before I start running through this, one thing they make a huge point of in this article is that the minimum stuff for a lot of these sounds very doable, like not that bad. But there's also like a recommended, and they say if you should really have no business doing it if you can only get the minimum and not the recommended. Like if you can only do the minimum, you'll basically die in like the actual training. If you get in, you'll die during this school. So you really need to shoot for the recommended. All right, so I'm going to tell you what the test is, and then I'll tell you the recommended training regime to get ready for the test. All right, so the first thing is swim 500 yards. And this one's tough because I have no idea like what a good time or a bad time would be for swimming 500 yards. I've not swam 500 yards. They say the maximum time allowed is 12 minutes and 30 seconds, but the recommended time is 8 minutes. So I don't know if that's a lot or a little with that one.
Yeah, I'm not a swimmer. I'm in the same boat as you.
All right, so let's go next one. Next one is push-ups. So you have 2 minutes to do as many push-ups as you can. Minimum is 42, but the recommended is 100. So how do you feel about that one? Could you nail that?
I mean, I think I can nail that. I think 2 minutes, yeah.
Nice.
So I know I can do, because the other day I was doing a thing. Have you? Well, I'll tell you about. Remind me to tell you about the Murph, which is workout of the day in CrossFit.
Yes.
After we get done with this, but yes, I think I can do 100 in 2 minutes. 50, break 25, break 25. 2 minutes, I can do that.
Cool. All right. Then there's sit-ups. Again, the minimum is 52 in 2 minutes. So you have 2 minutes again, but the recommended is 100. Then you have pull-ups, which is the minimum is only 8 for this, but you can't touch the ground at all. The recommended is 20.
Oh, so you just go until you're done.
Right, you can't like take a break or touch the ground.
Ooh. I don't know. I know I could get close to 20. I don't know. Okay.
All right, and then the last thing is, and this one's going to be tough to judge again, but it's a 1.5 mile run, but you got to do it wearing combat boots and like your pants, uniform, and all that stuff. So the maximum time allowed is 11 minutes, but the recommended time is 9 minutes. So I really don't know how much combat boots slow you down. But
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't want to judge. It sounds really easy, but I mean, 9 minute mile isn't exactly killing it. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's a mile and a half.
Oh, a mile and a half. Oh, okay. So you're talking a 6 minute pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds difficult. I mean, wearing combat boots and gear and all that, or whatever.
Right. All right. So
you gotta be pretty darn.
Yeah. So here's the workout that they recommend to get ready for it, and it's interesting that you mentioned the Murph because this is actually very similar, I think, to that workout. So here's what they recommend that you do. So you have to do 100 pull-ups in as few sets as possible, and each time your feet touch the ground, that counts as a new set. You have to run a quarter mile in 90 seconds, then come back and continue. So basically, you got to do 100 pull-ups in as few sets as you can. Every time you have to stop, you have to run a quarter mile in 90 seconds. Then 200 push-ups, again in as few sets as possible. Each time you have to stop and take a break, you have to run a quarter mile in 90 seconds. And then finally 300 sit-ups. Again, same thing, as a few sets as possible. If you have to take a break, you have to run the quarter mile in 90 seconds. So 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 sit-ups. That's their recommended training regime to get ready for the test.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's pretty intense. Yeah, I'll tell you, the way they have that set up it's super hard because like okay, like one of my little fitness goals that I'm working on right now is to be able to do 100 pull-ups in 10 minutes because I just thought that sounded cool and I like doing pull-ups, so I was like okay, but every time I do it, and I'm getting less, so I did it my last like once a week, especially now that we're doing the whole life challenge. My 10-minute workout is as many pull-ups as I can do.
Nice.
So my last week I did 82 in 10 minutes.
Nice.
But I guarantee I wouldn't be able to get close to it doing it the way they're recommending, because like I'll do it in sets of 10. So I'll do like
Right.
10, take a little break, 10, take a little break, 10, take a little break, until I get down to it and I can't do 10 anymore, and then I do, whatever, 5, take a little break, 5, take a little break, and so on and so forth. But I can't imagine, like, if you start off doing your max reps, like there's, like, if you do 20 in your first set, I'm sure my next set would be like, 5.
Right.
It's got to kill you really fast.
Right.
If you're maxing out, that's just like killing your muscle and you're getting totally fatigued, and then I don't know. That sounds super difficult to me.
Yeah. So that's the Navy SEAL. Maybe next time I'll come back and we can do the Green Berets or the Army Rangers or something. I've got a whole list.
We need a fan volunteer. I'd love to see somebody like start, do like a baseline, see where you're at on that test, and then do the training until you can actually like complete it. See how long that takes.
Nice.
I guess it could be one of us doing this too, but I already have too many things going on. I don't want to add that to the list of things I'm doing right now.
Right. Cool. All right. Anything else before we wrap up?
No. No, I think I have 1 or 2 topics left, but they were lame anyway, so we'll save them for later.
We'll save them for next time. Next week's show, it's going to be super lame. So be looking forward to that.
Super. That's right.
It's going to be great. Do you have a song or anything for the playlist?
Oh my gosh, we've been totally slacking on songs. I don't know if you noticed that last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we didn't do it last time.
Or the time before. That's two times in a row, so it's been like 4 weeks. I don't know, you got a song?
I do. I was going to pick Never Gonna Stop by Rob Zombie.
Okay.
By the way, you were ragging on my selections for the playlist. I've been using the playlist during my workouts, and I gotta say it's pretty tight. We got a nice playlist going.
We do actually. I too have been using the playlist, and I've come around to some of your songs. Some of them are awesome. You did. In fact, one of my very very favorite songs is what is it called? It's like Turn It Up or Turn It Out. What the hell is it? It's by some newer kind of band.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. By Fall Out Boy, that song.
Is it by Fall Out Boy?
Yeah, I think so. Just the one.
Yeah, that song's it's totally awesome. Every time it comes on, I'm like, oh, good choice, Tyler.
Cool.
So now I'm totally off the cuff. I'm gonna pick a song. I'm trying to.
Don't mess it up. We've got a good playlist. Don't screw it up now.
I know. Okay. There's got to be some good. Did we do Lose Yourself? Yeah, I did Lose Yourself. That was like the first song I did, I think. It's on our playlist. I think of things.
Well, look, I don't want to mess with our playlist. So if you're not confident right now, just save it.
I'm not confident.
Till next time.
I'm gonna throw in the towel.
All right.
I'll get you next time.
Sweet. All right. Hey, head to realdadafitness.com. Check out the site. We've been slacking on new articles the last couple weeks, but I got a new one going up this week, and I know Fat Dad's got a new one going up this week as well.
Cool.
Other than that, we will see you next time.
I'll give a promise. I'll throw a new one up this week too.
Ooh, nice.
I've been a slacker.
Yeah, 3-article week. I like it.
3-article week.
All right. We will talk to you next week, and until next time, this is PT. I got to run.
Stay real, stay fit, dads. We'll see you next week.